Welcome to r/ProRevenge. In today's stories, Karen wants $1,000 in cash for a $10 coupon sent to the wrong address. Never mess with a rancher and a neighbour. My father had the ultimate revenge when I was a kid. And a co-worker was eating other people's lunches, so I poisoned them and got them fired. What is up, guys, and I do hope you're well. If you enjoy Reddit stories, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe button, and maybe, just maybe, even that notification bell, as it really helps us pushing forward. Much love, guys, and let's get straight into it. Our first story is from The Breakup 2013. Karen wants $1,000 cash for a $10 coupon sent to the wrong address, pays more in legal fees, reposted with names. This story is from a few years ago when I worked in the legal department of $1,000. This story is from a few years ago when I worked in the legal department of a 1,000+ store national retailer. As part of my job, I handled customer complaints that elevated when the customer threatened legal action. Our customer service call centre forwarded Karen's call to me after she threatened legal action. Karen left a message claiming that she was not provided $10 in customer reward coupons, spend $200, receive $10 coupon in the mail sort of thing. This was before apps. Based on her purchase of clothing for her son and daughter for back to school, I looked into it and called Karen back. It turned out we had an old address associated with her rewards account. No big deal, right? I spoke with Karen and offered to send her the original $10 coupon and an additional $25 for her troubles to correct the address. That did not satisfy Karen. She claimed we should know her address and threatened to sue us if we didn't pay her $1,000 in cash. Her rationale was that it would cost at least $1,000 to defend the suit. She was in a state in which our company did not have offices, so we should just pay it to her. I declined, but still forwarded her the $10 coupon she was entitled to, pursuant to our rewards program. Sure enough, she sued us for breach of contract, fraud, and any other conceivable charge. I went to my boss, the COO, and told him the story. He asked what I wanted to do. I said I'd rather pay legal fees to a defense attorney than pay Karen, and he agreed. I contacted the outside counsel, our awesome attorney, explained the situation to him, and I crap you not, he said, in a southern drawl, "I get to sue Karen. I should be paying you guys. There are a lot of lawyers in this legal community who would love to sue her as she is reckless, unpleasant, and a total pain in the ass to deal with. I'll gladly take your case." He agreed to defend us at a reduced rate. Part of the defense strategy was to counter sue her under the state's frivolous lawsuit statute, which would move the suit from a small claims court to a larger civil court. Awesome attorney filled her answer and counterclaim, although Karen was an attorney. She was not a defense attorney, so she had to engage her own attorney to defend against the counterclaim. After a couple of hearings, she offered to settle for no more money exchange. She didn't even get the extra $25 coupon I offered her, and the dismissal of both suits. I talked with Awesome Attorney about continuing our claim, but he advised it'd probably be worth settling and being done with it rather than being vindictive. Although vindictive would have been fun, courts tend to not like that, so I agreed. My company ended up paying Awesome Attorney $900 in attorney's fees. Awesome Attorney later called and told us that Karen engaged charged her $1,700 to defend her suit. Although I would have liked to continue with our suit, I think having her pay $1,700 over a $10 coupon sent to the wrong address is sufficient justice. I don't get why people try this stuff with call centers. I know like companies like Amazon and stuff would bend over backwards for their customers and they'd just give them free stuff just to shut them up. But there's just it's just not worth the hassle. Some people are like so vindictive, just trying to get free stuff from companies all the time. And I'm glad that they bite back sometimes. It's just a shame you wasn't more vindictive in the end, although it could have been gone against you, I guess, but yeah. Our next story is from Drum Bubba. Never mess with a rancher and a neighbour. My father had the ultimate revenge when I was a kid. I grew up on a horse ranch in Colorado. We had a long piece of property, about 80 acres, and we raised Missouri foxtrotters. What are they? I'll have to look that up. We had lived there for almost 20 years when some folks bought a strip of property way at the back of our land. It was a strange plot of land and it was very narrow and was sandwiched between our back fence and a busy country road. We were surprised anyone would buy it actually, as it forced the house to be pretty close to said road. Well, we never met these new neighbours until one day my dad gets a notice from a lawyer telling us that after having surveyed the property lines, our back fence encroaches on their property between 3 and 6 inches, depending on the spot along the fence line. These folks had never met us, never introduced themselves. Our first introduction was this legal demand. My father was the salt of the earth kind of man, very kind but also very strong-willed. He called these folks, arranged to meet up and tried to talk some sense into them. First, did the 3 to 6 inches really matter that much, and why had they not come to talk it through? Even offered a number of different compromises. These folks were hostile from the get-go. They demanded he move the fence immediately or they would sue. Apparently, the law stated that they had to put their house so far away from our fence line, and they wanted to push it back, as far back from the road as they could when they built it, so they wanted that 6 inches very badly. I still remember when my dad got back from the meeting, he hung his hat up and shook his head when he told my mum in his slow way, "Well, it looks like we've got the kind of folks for neighbours you don't ever want to have for your neighbours." They sued and won, and were forced to move the fence in 2 weeks. I say we because I was free slave labour, as all farm kids are in this kind of thing. All that fencing material and the time were a big cost for my family, but we got the work done in early spring. Here is where the fun comes in. So new neighbours broke ground and built through the end of winter into spring. The very next weekend after they moved into their house, Dad rousted me out of bed and we took the big truck into town to the lumberyard. I was extremely puzzled as we loaded up a bunch of fencing material and building supplies. We didn't have any big projects going on that I knew about, and I kept asking him what it was for, but he just told me to wait and see, with a devilish smile on his face. We built a pen and small enclosure very near our back property line, directly behind the neighbour's new shiny house. The next day, once our farm friends delivered a half a dozen pigs to their new home, Dan insisted on feeding those hogs table scraps and all kind of things that would go in the composter, as well as some good balanced hog feed to keep them healthy. Now you may not know this, but the smell of pig excrement is directly related to what they eat and their pen. Table scraps make them smell bad, and I mean bad. I had to drive the four-wheeler back there every day to take care of them, and within a month, halfway there, and my eyes would start watering, it smelled so bad. When we mucked out the pen with a bobcat, we also made the pile right next to the pen. I can't even imagine how bad the smell was living in that house. The neighbours, of course, freaked out, and again, without even trying to talk to us, went the legal route. They lost. The area was zoned agricultural, and my dad had done his homework to make sure he was breaking no laws or regulations. The pigs were far enough from us and our other neighbours that it didn't bother anyone but the people we wanted it to bother. Come fall, when winter moved in, we sold the pigs to slaughter, and Dad stacked up a bunch of building supplies next to the pen, let the neighbours know we'd be expanding the profitable operation in the spring when they came out to scream at him. He smiled the whole time, speaking in a slow and steady way. The neighbours sold their new house in January when the ground was frozen, and the new owners would not smell the pen. Though as soon as the old neighbours were gone, we tore down the enclosure, spread the nasty stuff on the hayfield, and the new neighbours never had the bad smell come spring. They were also great neighbours and are still lifelong friends. Never mess with a rancher. I was in the second part. I was worried there. I thought, oh no, he's gonna get done if he's like putting pigs next to the house, because obviously that's a bit malicious. And I thought he'd get in like a lot of trouble legally for that. But obviously there's some like agricultural laws about land and things. But oh, that's amazing. Imagine doing that to them. Just looking at them at the window while you're tending to the pigs. Our next story is from James Jaceable. A co-worker was eating people's lunches, so I poisoned them and got them fired. I've been looking forward to this one. So I like to bring my own food into the office, and we have a fridge to put things into, and I have my food in tubs with my name on them. A co-worker would sometimes not see people's names on the food and think it was theirs, so would heat it up and eat it and then apologise. They did this enough for it to be an annoyance, but not enough for our employees to really care. This has been happening with my food once or twice a month. Last month, I had enough, and I like spicy food, but don't bring it into the office, as sometimes I let people try some of my food and my cooking. I ordered a bag of ghost chili peppers and put the full bag into a big pot of chili that would last for several days. I took this into the office and had it for lunch every day. Midweek, my lunch went missing, and I was waiting for the person who was stealing my lunch to get a shock when they ate my lunch. What happened in reality was someone got sent home sick, and the next day they were off, and I was told they went to the doctors for stomach pains. 2 weeks went by, and the co-worker who was off refused to talk about it and said HR was involved, so I knew they were going to try and get me fired. I went home and ordered another bag of ghost chilies and made another batch of my chili. this time with only one chili in a single tub. I put this in the freezer, and the following Monday I was told I had a HR meeting that day. I refused and said that they need to give me 24 hours to find someone to come into the meeting with me, and the next day I had my manager come into the meeting and brought in my, now heated, ghost chili, infused chili. The long story short, I was told I could be fired for trying to poison the person who was stealing my lunch, and I asked if they admitted to stealing people's lunch, which they did. I then said I have a batch of the chili in question with me, and I like spicy food. My liking spicy food shouldn't stop me from having it at work, since it doesn't smell when heated, like fish, and my manager agreed it was on the person who took my lunch without knowing how spicy it was, and I should not be held liable if they eat something of someone else's that doesn't agree with them. My manager and I then ate some of the chili and offered it to the other people in the meeting, some of which tried it and agreed while it was spicy, it was clearly what I liked, as I was fine eating it. The meeting ended and nothing happened. I wasn't taken into another meeting and my lunch wasn't taken anymore, but the person who had stolen our lunch got a slap on the wrist and was allowed to stay at work. Lunches started to go missing again, so my manager went to HR to say that lunches were going missing, and he knew who was taking it and had proof this time. And when they asked for the proof, he presented the meeting record with a line highlighted where they admitted they had stolen lunch, and the line where HR said this is not what the meeting was about. They were fired the next day for theft of property and told they would not be given a reference. God damn, imagine a whole, I don't know if you've ever had chili peppers, but they are hot. One is hot. Putting them in a whole load in there. Oh my god, that was a blow. That person's stomach must have been cramping like crazy. But fair play to you. I just can't believe the company though, like trying to blame someone else when there's someone stealing lunches. Who does that? Who steals people's lunches? You don't know what's in there. That's grim. That is disgusting. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed these Reddit stories. If you did, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe button and that notification bell. Much love guys. Take care now. Have a great day.